LPGA just did everything that the WNBA should have been doing this season. They did it all correct in literally one day.
So Caitlin Clark played golf during the week, and obviously it was a big deal. Surprisingly enough, an almost bigger deal than on Rival.
This is proof that the WNBA may be being harassed by the LPGA.
Talked about it in a previous video how this Pro-Am event originally wasn't even going to be televised, but there were so many fans who were emailing the organization saying, how can we watch Caitlin? Can we come to the event? Can you live stream it? All of these things. And it ended up being put on.
Caitlin Clark's golf performance caused a media storm, with LPGA postings receiving 7 million impressions, much more than they usually do. The WNBA struggles to identify its star, sometimes mispronouncing her name, while other leagues are exceeding it.
What we saw from Caitlin Clark playing golf was the LPGA being really happy about it.
It is hard to ignore the underlying tension given the timing and tone of the LPGA's postings. Thus, this goes beyond mere speculation. The WNBA, where Caitlin Clark is expected to play in the future, has been notably quiet despite other leagues and athletes welcoming her as a rising star in women's sports because of her basketball accomplishments. Even worse, there have been tales of lost chances that show the WNBA isn't interested in its own golden ticket, ranging from advertising mistakes to blatant omissions.
You see here, this is days later, nothing but love for Caitlin Clark over here. Constantly saying, like, it's always, everything is like, who doesn't love Caitlin Clark? Like, all of these posts are like...
Let's take a moment to reflect on the significance of this. The LPGA capitalized on Caitlin Clark's celebrity when she appeared at a golf event, and social media was inundated with tweets like, who doesn't love Caitlin Clark? That seemed to be as much a celebration of Clark as they were a critique of the WNBA. Caitlin Clark is more than simply a sportswoman. Her performances have drawn large audiences, and her charisma has gained her followers from all walks of life, making her a cultural phenomenon.
The LPGA was promoting the crap out of this event, and they also did something really smart by pairing her up with their currently #1 golfer in the world, and her name is Nelly Corda.
There is more to the LPGA's success with Clark than meets the eye. The numbers are self-explanatory. Content on her golf outing had over 34 million impressions, which is impressive for a league like the LPGA that frequently struggles to attract such sizable viewers. This was a major triumph. They recognized and took use of Clark's ability to attract attention. However, the question remains, why didn't the WNBA do the same? This results in a more significant issue. The WNBA has long struggled to market its players, in contrast to the NBA, which has elevated them to global stardom. The WNBA has regularly failed to capitalize on its talents, according to Caitlin Clark. Given that Clark is a generational talent with the ability to drastically alter the league's future, this is especially concerning. However, fans have been baffled by the WNBA's approach to Clark, which has included everything from omitting her name from promotional ads to misspelling it on official documents. On the other hand, Clark's star power players have quickly been adopted by other tennis leagues. Major League Baseball players and even soccer players have shown their appreciation for her. Serena Williams, one of the greatest sports legends, praised Clark's skill and perseverance while highlighting how she's handling the intense pressure of being in the public eye. These endorsements show how much Clark is valued by other sports. Caitlin Clark is a brand as much as an athlete, but the LPGA takes a unique stance. By siding with Clark, they are demonstrating more than simply love for strategy. They have set themselves up to profit from her notoriety. Increasing engagement is not the only goal here. The goal is to draw in a new audience. And Caitlin Clark's charm is attracting its working fans, who may not have ever interacted with the LPGA. This is an obvious failure for the WNBA, but a wise one for the LPGA. Why, then, is the WNBA making mistakes? Thus, some contend that it's a league-wide culture problem. The WNBA has had difficulty striking a balance between player advancement and team chemistry, in contrast to the NBA, which feeds on individualism and star power. Players like Caitlin Clark, who may represent the league, are now marginalized as a result of this circumstance. Others highlight structural issues that make it more difficult for the WNBA to compete with leagues like the LPGA, such as a lack of funding and a lower marketing budget. However, the outcome is the same regardless of the cause. An opportunity lost. Even still, it appears as though the LPGA is making a statement with their commendation of Clark. At first glance, posts that express nothing but love for Caitlin Clark and who doesn't adore her can appear harmless. In light of the WNBA's silence, they assume a new tone. It's hard not to interpret this as trolling, a tactic used to highlight the WNBA's shortcomings while endorsing their own league. This goes beyond Caitlin Clark. In a sporting environment when leagues are battling for women's sports significance, it also concerns what she stands for. The uniqueness of athletes like Caitlin Clark makes this battle even more noticeable. They have the power to expand their audience, draw in new followers, and improve the sport overall. Fans are observing that social media is blazing with discussions about how other leagues are exploiting Clark's fame, while the WNBA lags behind many, and that the WNBA made a huge mistake by not seizing this chance. I find it unsatisfactory. The LPGA is taking front stage because it saw Clark's potential and acted quickly. The story doesn't end there, though. The league that Caitlin Clark is destined to join ought to be spearheading the movement in her honor. Clark's LPGA victory raises important questions about the direction of women's sports. Will organizations like the WNBA keep missing out on opportunities to grow? Or are they able to learn from this and adapt? One thing is clear for the time being. Their audience and the answers to these queries will have an impact on the future development of women's sports. Although the LPGA acknowledges Caitlin Clark's superstar status, their adoration for her serves as a reminder of the WNBA's flaws, whether intentional or not. The LPGA appears to be engaging in successful trolling. Following the WNBA's warning, fans are watching to see how they respond. Beyond her media appearances and outstanding performances, Caitlin Clark is a sensation. Buzz has become a window into how other leagues treat their players. Additionally, the WNBA's quiet becomes more audible as the LPGA continues to bask in the glory of Caitlin's star power. This dynamic begs the crucial issue of whether the WNBA can overcome this or if everyone will continue to gain from Caitlin Clark's ascent, with the exception of the league she plans to join. Let's examine the reactions of players and supporters in various leagues to the Caitlin Clark story and what it reveals about the broader sports scene encompassing all professional athletes. To increase interaction, promote ticket sales and brand loyalty. Think about Michael Jordan in the NBA or Serena Williams in tennis. These individuals transcend their sport and are cultural icons. Caitlin Clark has the same capacity. The difference lies in whether or not the leagues decide to employ it. Take the LPGA's reaction to Clark, for example. They immediately recognized her appeal and paired her with their brand, creating a mutually beneficial alliance. Clark gained prominence in a new sport and the LPGA gained access to her sizable fan base. This is not just a one-time strategy, it is a deliberate attempt to grow. In contrast, the WNBA's marketing strategies have been subpar, and their audience has been hesitant even though they have a star that might draw millions of people to their league. This is a recurring issue with the WNBA's star marketing approach that goes beyond Clark. Even though they are exceptional athletes, athletes like A.A. Wilson and Breanna Stewart don't receive the same level of international recognition as their male counterparts. Fans of NBA components have long been irritated by the league's inability to market its players. Other than the LPGA, organizations recognize Clark's value. Athletes and leagues in a number of sports, including football and tennis, have shown their gratitude to Serena Williams. Tennis legends like Caroline Wozniacki have even expressed their want to play doubles with her due to the massive crowd she would draw, demonstrating her skill and perseverance, Clark said. This is more than just gratitude. It has to do with strategy. Other leagues see Caitlin Clark as a way to reach new audiences, and by collaborating with her, they are using her fame to grow their own businesses. This strategy shows a deep comprehension of the modern sports environment, where involvement and exposure are equally as crucial as on-field success. It is perplexing why the WNBA is hesitant to use this tactic rather than capitalizing on Clark's achievements as a rising star. There have even been some fan theories that this is because of internal politics or a fear of overshadowing existing celebrities. The result is the same regardless of the cause. In the contemporary world, when social media greatly influences public opinion, rival leagues would be more than pleased to seize this missed chance. Considering the data, the LPGA's handling of Caitlin Clark is a perfect example of how to use digital platforms effectively. By bombarding their networks with Clark-related content, they created a surge of interaction that raised their profile. For a league like the LPGA, which often has trouble gaining traction, this was a major win with 34 million impressions across all platforms. In addition to their existing following, their postings garnered new followers due to the enthusiasm around Caitlin Clark. Conversely, the WNBA has struggled to achieve similar levels of interest. Their social media approach usually comes out as reactive rather than proactive, losing out on chances to connect with new audiences. This is a significant problem for a league trying to grow its following. The WNBA's internal conflict is among the story's most puzzling elements. Although some athletes openly back Caitlin Clark, others have not been as fervent. This gap is a reflection of a bigger issue facing the NBA, which is its inability to strike a balance between team chemistry and individual star power. For instance, LeBron James and Stephen Curry are promoted as independent brands, which eventually helps the league as a whole. By putting more emphasis on team identity than individual marketing, the WNBA has been hesitant to embrace this strategy for fear of offending fans who are attracted to certain individuals. This conflict is shown in the Caitlin Clark case. Her play style and captivating demeanor make her an apparent star, but the league's reluctance to fully embrace her suggests an internal conflict over how to handle individualism. The WNBA is a league that is always growing, and growth brings uncertainty. While adopting a celebrity like Caitlin Clark may have many advantages, there are drawbacks as well. This is an additional element that fuels the fear of change. What if other players get hostile as a result of giving Clark too much credit? What if it disrupts the dynamics of the team? Although these are valid concerns, the bigger picture should always come first. With her remarkable ability to draw crowds and generate attention, Caitlin Clark is exactly what the WNBA needs. Ignoring her is more than just a missed opportunity. Let's return to how the LPGA was involved in this whole situation. They are more than just admirers of Caitlin Clark. It seems purposeful, even premeditated. Who doesn't love Caitlin Clark? And similar posts are more than simply praise. It's a reversal of the LPGA's trolling tactics. The subtle barbs at the NBA's bad treatment of its star and its working fans have sparked a larger conversation about how leagues handle their players and what this implies for the future of women's sports. The disparity between the NBA